Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Premier says we should slash the pensions of over 300,000 retirees because we need to, quote, live within our means. But I think the Premier could benefit from a workshop on living within one's means. For public sector retirees, their means are around an average of $15,000 a year. To convert that into language the Premier can understand, that's just a touch more than a private flight back from a vacation in Palm Springs, or about 1/3 of a trip for two to South Africa. To the Minister of Finance, aren't you even a bit embarrassed about attacking the modest incomes of retired provincial workers in the face of your Premier's repeated display of overindulgence?
Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, almost 2 years ago, the Premier asked me to work with the pension boards, the Local Authorities Pension Board, the Public Sector Pension Board, the Management Employee Pension Board, and the Special Forces Board, all of whom are made up of members of those unions and those payers in the system, if you will, to ensure the sustainability of pensions into the future. She also asked, Mr. Speaker, that I would look at all of the options, including the DC option, which is the Wild Rose Alliance's option of the defined contributions, including perhaps even some other options. Mr. Speaker, it was resounding that they wanted to protect the defined benefit plan, and in order to protect the defined guarantee, we must make some changes for the future, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member for supplemental.
Well, given that this government has decided to actually eliminate the retirement security provided by guaranteed inflationary protection, and given that this will mean seniors who have devoted decades of service to this province will slowly slip into poverty as they age, will the Minister of Finance be at least making the same cuts to the Premier's travel budget so that she will eventually be forced to fly commercial, make the odd transfer in LA, and perhaps take the occasional red-eye like the rest of us?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I wish that members opposite would stop trying to scare retirees with misinformation. Mr. Speaker, we are not getting rid of the guarantee for defined benefit contributions. 80% of Albertans do not have a defined benefit plan, Mr. Speaker. The public sector has a guarantee that a percentage of probably what would be their highest earnings in their work with the public sector, a guarantee of a percentage of that for life, Mr. Speaker. That guarantee stands. It stands today. It will stand after the changes. What will change, Mr. Speaker, is being able to afford to pay cost of living adjustments every year of that pension for life.
Payout is a mere $15,000 per year. And given that the PC decision to eliminate the 85 factor has been estimated to represent a 20% clawback from that very group, instead of standing behind the Premier's lavish spending habits, why won't this government stop picking on people who can least afford it and instead reverse the mean-spirited attacks on our public sector workers?
Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure where the honourable member has been, but if she was to look around the world, defined benefit programs are under stress. They're under stress, Mr. Speaker, because we're living longer. We have not the same number of people coming into the system as are now dependent upon the system. That's very evident in all of these plans. Mr. Speaker, what we have done is presented to the membership of the plans a compromise from where we were before. In fact, Mr. Speaker, we are not getting rid of the early retirement subsidies. We are changing from an 85 to a 55 to a 90-60. Mr. Speaker, there are still early retirement provisions with full pension at age 60 within the new proposals.